Alright. Cool. I got in game. Lambo should be joining me for this first series as well. Hey, mate. How's it going?
Hello, hello.
Welcome back, man. Twice in one day, huh?
Twice in one day, yeah. But for me, it's also just one stream. It's very
Wow.
it's unheard of almost for me to stream as long as
You're doing the
you.
Wardy stream experience.
Yeah.
Where you just do two streams in one. Yeah.
It's too much for me, but
we call it passion, man. I swear, you gotta talk your chat into just, guys, I've been live really long, make sure, that sub button, those primes, these are the moments they're needed most. You just gotta, you just gotta tell them what's up,
Okay. I'm noting this down, shaming my viewers into subscribing. Very nice.
Yeah, it's the way to go. It's caster approved, right? And we all know casters have the right way of things all the time, so.
Alright.
Alright, let's kick this off and let's get talking about these games as we do have in the bottom right hand side a Laser, our blue Zerg player.
And his opponent, the red Protoss player, the Wall himself, it is showtime.
So yeah, just a quick little intro / reminder of the format of the tournament for anyone just joining. This is best of 3, double elimination. It's a full bracket, so we imagine a GSL group where we actually just play the grand finals with like a little bit of a just for some extra games basically, because otherwise 5 best of 3s can be pretty short. The extra little something at the end usually makes a reasonable amount of time. So that's the reasoning behind the format as we kick off into this. And yeah, Laser asking about Showtime's shoulder because he managed to dislocate it last week by putting on his jacket. I mean, I don't know what the jacket did to him, but yeah, that's really a story.
Yeah, that's rough. Do you know how initially he dislocated it? He said it on the panel show us.
Way back when, because I feel like he left a home story cup that he lost, and he like jumped in some water, and he dislocated. That's what I thought it was, but I didn't hear what he said recently or something.
Ah, okay. Yeah, it has nothing to do with home story cup. I think
Okay.
He was just with his friends, and he jumped into water, yeah, from high up or something.
Yeah. So, but the funny thing was, I think he left a home story cup because he did it like during the home story cup. So he like left the home story cup because he lost, and then ended up dislocating his shoulder.
Oh, really? I thought it was just at a random time.
I think that's what it was, because I seem to remember us being at a home story cup and then hearing about it, and then we were like, wait, Showtime's not here? And everyone's like, wait, did he leave? So, yeah, that's my memory of it, but it could also be patchy, yeah. No, that's also an interesting story. I feel like that's terrifying. You jump into some water and your shoulder just dislocates, and then you're in the middle of this water. Like, that doesn't sound fun.
I feel like he must have done something very wrong, though. Usually, if you jump into the water, you can jump from pretty far up.
Yeah, I guess
if you enter it correctly, it should be fine. But
yeah,
must have spun.
If you have like your shoulder out somewhere weird way, yeah, I imagine it goes wrong. All right, yeah, you talked to me a bit about Laser and ZVP earlier today already. Obviously a very different opponent from when we were talking earlier. I think did we cast a Laser Hero?
Yeah.
And obviously Showtime really couldn't be more different than Hero when it comes to a player. Someone who is just much more about that macro game, focused on getting into the later game. A lot less tricks up his sleeve, most likely, as well. So, expecting a very different series this time around in that regard.
Now, Showtime already is opening up with the Void Ray, which is not a standard opener, actually. Which is surprising because most other Protoss players do usually open Void Ray into Oracle, but he likes to go for a triple Oracle very often and then go for a Robo early and a Forge and tries to hold Queen Rocks that way, going into Disruptors. But I've also seen him play 2 Stargate Void Ray on this map, so similar to the MaxPax opener. Even though MaxPax didn't make that opener, I'm just gonna call it that because he does it the most consistent out of anybody.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what you might be going for this game. What are your depths?
Yeah, the Depths get some drone kills as into the main base. They don't get one more, unfortunately, but 3 drones at the start. So we actually casted a best of 7 between Showtime and a Laser like a week or so ago, and it was actually just a recurrent theme that a Laser would take a lot of damage early game, and obviously that was also against the triple Oracle, so not necessarily the exact same here, but even the first Adepts were oftentimes getting so many work kills, more than you usually expect. And it was something that definitely set a Laser behind in the series a few times over, so something he hopefully fixes throughout the games today, as that is already going to be 8 drones going down, as the one Oracle finds 5 extra workers, so yeah, pretty fantastic start for Showtime.
Yeah, that should never happen. He just forgot the Spark Roller, I guess, in the hectic of defending the Adepts. But an Oracle after Void Ray, if it kills a worker, you're already gonna be like that. That's a mistake from the Zerg usually, because it's just an Oracle and you have 6 queens. So
Yeah.
realistically, there shouldn't be too many openings, you know. So that's really bad for Laser already. Now, thankfully, with the follow-up that Showtime is playing, the early game doesn't matter as much as with the triple Oracle, because the only pressure you have on the map are going to be the Void Rays. So as long as you have enough queens, you can simply drone up to still the same amount that you would usually. Whereas if there is some ground transition, you would need to, for example, stop at 90 drones usually. Then let's say he can only make 80 in a game like this, or probably even less. Whereas with the Void Rays, you can usually go up to 100. You can still go up to 100 because there's just not that much follow-up aggression.
Alright, well, as these 3 links come up, they're just going to try and pick up some info, of course. And as you see, Laser just moving into his lair. This is not alongside anything that looks too aggressive just yet. Just going to be loads of drones. And lair Evo Chamber just setting up for really the long game, as you're kind of alluding to. So, again, that setup, obviously you get a gold base in this map, which is always nice. Bit of boosted economy, so even when you get maxed out, you can hit that max a little faster, have a bit of a boosted economy behind it while on the similar work accounts. And sometimes that can aid with the, you know, with some of the aggression that you do kind of towards the later stages of the game.
And he's actually going for an Infestation Pit, which is cool. He might be doing something like the Rogue or / Dark style, where they go into Infestors, which would be cool. But for now, I think he should be headed towards the late game. I'm not sure if you watched Showtime versus Rogue. I think that was also in one of your tournaments.
Yeah.
But Showtime played that exact same style on this exact same map, I believe. So he should know what's up.
Yeah, that was a crazy game where Rogue just had like literally mass infest a queen. That was that was a really crazy game, because I don't think I've seen someone go quite as mass infester as that in a long time. At least not as quickly as he went for it, because he went for it with like 5 roaches or something. I mean, like got to a point where it's like, yeah, but zealots, and it was like, oh, but zealots, and yeah, that was a couple days ago. That was crazy stuff.
That was one of the more back and forth late game games in general, because usually in late games, I feel like one fight kind of decides it, and it's a lot of posturing, but that was a lot of direct fights, and then you're not sure who wins still, which is very rare nowadays, honestly, so I thought that was pretty cool.
No, absolutely. It was genuinely quite fascinating, just a different style, but like you say, back and forth too. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of PvZ late game, because like you say, like, one fight decides it all, there's a lot of waiting to get there, right? Like, that part of it I don't really like, and you know we see it a lot. But then yeah, that was everything good about some late game PvC, so very different.
Now Elaser already is turtling up. He's starting 3 extra spores. I think he wants to go directly into Brute Lords. I think what he is doing would be pretty bad against, let's say, an Icon timing, and he didn't really do a follow-up scout of what exactly is happening in Showtime space, but with the way that Showtime is playing, I think this is completely fine, and I think we're gonna see more of the thing that you talked about, which is gonna be a lot of waiting for both players to kind of get the correct army that they want to have and then try to take over the map.
Yeah, it does seem like we're going to be headed somewhat in that direction. There's a couple of gates coming up on that 3rd base. The Void's just moving around a little bit, and yeah, I mean, obviously you just get a 4th gold nice and quick at Showtime. A Laser's on a 5th. He starts up a ton of Spore Crawlers and Spine Crawlers there as well, so really just making sure that he's got himself defenses all around, as there's that Greater Spire coming up. And yeah, I mean, so we're kind of going to wait until Broodlord's up. Does a Laser want to become the aggressor, or does he really just sit back and wait and wait and wait?
A Laser for sure will sit back and wait. I don't think you can be the aggressor as Zerg in this scenario. It's mostly up for the Protoss if he wants to do something. Like maybe send Zealot Archon to one side and then attack on the other. Maybe send your air army to one side, send the Mothership in the main. Stuff like that can be very hard to deal with, so if I'm expecting someone to move out, it should be probably Showtime.
Yeah, that's usually the way it goes as well. That Protoss army gets maxed. They have the ability to recall if they feel like they need to get back home quick, as well as those Zealots will just clean up these Zerglings. So, yeah, okay, I mean, the Lings don't do much, but at least you know the Zealots are coming around the top side of the map, although I guess the preparation is already there in all of these Spine Crawlers. So maybe not the end of the world, as Showtime's already going. He's actually got a lot more supply than a laser. Is that because a laser's just been so kind of stacked defense focused? Is he in trouble here? Or does the stacked defense help him out enough?
I would be very surprised if Shotem actually attacks into this. I think that stack defense should be enough, but also he doesn't have Archons nor High Templars, to be honest. I think Elaser should throw down the spell of the Infestor and then abduct units one by one.
Yeah, that Microbial Shroud does go down, so that's going to basically mean the carriers do nothing. Like, they are... It's kind of crazy just how little the carriers do in that. Obviously, the negative is you've got to stand in that exact spot, but Showtime had nothing to punish him, but just standing there.
Yeah, the Archons joined up a little bit too late. There were also no Zealots. There was no anti-ground actually from Elaser because the Brutaloids were just starting to morph. But now, he had the 2 Archons in the Warp Prism, I guess, and warped in a round of Zealots. And this is going to be very annoying for Elaser to clean up. He needs to send the Broodlords, which means there's going to be no anti-ground at the top besides the Spinecrawlers. But thankfully for Elaser, I don't think Showtime has a Warp Prism with the top army either, so...
He does not, so this is going to be kind of just it as... I mean, Showtime makes a bid for the Hive kill, and we'll get relatively close. These Broodlings actually getting all caught up towards the end means the Zealots have stopped taking anywhere near as much damage, so actually gets way closer than I thought, to the point where the Hive will go down. We do get a couple of abducts off on the top side at the same time, though, so that's 2 carriers going down, and that is going to be Showtime still a bit afraid then because of those abducts and losing some of his important units.
Yeah, I'm not sure how many Vipers Elaser made initially, but he only has 1 left, and that's gonna be it for quite some time because he just now started the lair. So that's gonna be the main difficulty with this Hive dying. Other than that, he still didn't even start +1 carapace on the Spire, so his upgrades are not gonna be too delayed. He also still has all the other tech structures, so really it just affects his Vipers. I was very surprised to see the Warp in the main because I thought he had a wall of spores there, but I guess it wasn't enough
forward,
to decide. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, he had 3 Vipers initially, so he did lose 2, so like you say, Vipers will be the biggest miss for a laser for the foreseeable future. This Prism is going to come back in. It's going to just go through. I mean, the spores are still there, 1 corrupted 2. It's going to drop off the few Zealots, and we'll just leave those to go forward and do what they can. But Lings are there as well. Showtime's still trying to be aggressive up on that top side, trying to hit from behind the gold base. And of course, behind all of this, Showtime just has his own 5th base coming up. Still continuing with all his own upgrades and even adding in Tempest, so just making an adjustment to his army comp, getting those Tempests up. Just going to be another nice addition to everything here.
Yeah, I know Shodan does not like to play with the Tempest, and I think that's one of his weaknesses, because that also means that he doesn't have as much experience with it. He always says that he kind of doesn't want to just sit there with Shield Batteries and Tempest, even though he thinks this is the strongest style, until he plays tournaments. But then, obviously, when he plays the tournaments without having practiced it too much, the army control can sometimes be a little bit lacking. Whereas Elaser plays this campy style very, very frequently. He said he can play one of those games per day, and I'm pretty sure he gets exactly one of those per day, because it's kind of up for the Zerg, since every pro aims for this anyways. That he should have quite a decent experience on this, and even though his bank is quite a bit smaller than Showtime's, for now it just depends on how they trade, because this map is going to get split at some point. I don't see either of them dying in the foreseeable future.
Yep, I'm gonna have a little bit of harassment top right, gonna get a Spore, work on the hatchery, doubt it would last long enough. These Immortals are at a stage where they're just not needed, so he's just gonna abandon them, let them go down. They can, do what they can while doing that, and at the same time the Prism did make it to the back of the Natural, where we are gonna see a Zealot warping against some Lings. Good thing a Corruptor gets on top of it, otherwise it might have been more of a problem. Back and forth has continued on the left-hand side in the center. The feedback did go down there towards the end, but otherwise looks as though Showtime is once again being the player pushed back off of this. Resources lost, a little bit favorable to Laser overall. Like you say, I mean, each trade obviously has so much value inside of it that one good fight can change absolutely everything, and obviously, like you say, the map gets split, so resources kind of become shared. Usually on this map, the only odd thing about that is the top and bottom bases, which are contested, but you typically see one player get one base and the other guy get the other one. Do you ever feel like there's maybe do you feel like better as the Zerg holding one of those bases, or do you think it's easy for the Protoss to take one of those external bases outside of the first 6?
I think it's a lot better for Zerg, because you can take these while your other bases are still mining, whereas for Protoss it's a lot harder to defend your other bases. It splits you up quite a bit. So that's definitely a great feature for the Zerg. I think this is actually what makes it a very good Zerg map in the late game as well. But Elaser doesn't do any counterattacks to begin with. I think Elaser just tries to play the efficiency game, where he sits there, maybe waits for the Protoss to suicide into him, and if not, then he tries to fight for those bases straight up, in like a straight up fight instead of having a larger ground army. For example, if he had like Ling Bane, he could try to bust cannons and shoot batteries, but he's doing none of that. He's just playing as passive as it gets, really.
Yep, absolutely. As you see, another nice abduct is able to get a carrier kill. And we do have just both players also setting up with more of everything. 3 Vipers, extra from a laser, and Showtime with plenty of Stargates, knowing that his bank's going to grow a whole bunch. Being able to rebuild somewhat quickly is obviously important here, so doesn't want to have to, especially if you've got to rebuild like carriers or carriers mostly, right? They take a long time to build, so anything you can just rebuild, you know, more of at the same time generally is going to help. As yeah, Showtime gets all 6 of his bases. The Voids are going to go on their own journey up to the top, or, well, for now they're just going to hang around there, but separated from everything else, so we'll see what they end up doing.
Yeah, that's super scary to move out there. If Elazer gets vision of how this army looks exactly, which you don't just from it being at the edge of the creep, he would just dive this with the Corruptors. Even though there's one Icon and a couple of high Templars, you just could kill this with Corruptors. You don't even need a Viper. If there are no Void Rays, it's just super simple to clean this up. Although he doesn't actually have enough Corruptors to one-shot, so I'll take that back. And it's like 6 more Corruptors and then that's fine.
Yeah, just going to be having the couple of storms going off. Showtime was just waiting for extra Voids to make like a mega Void attack through the top. He's got a line of cannons here to deal with a line of Banelings, as the Banes initially might just go towards these cannons and bust down pretty much all of them. So stack defense denied, clearing the way for some Lings perhaps. As there go the Void Rays to the upper right. I mean, this is really a wall of spores. He's going to try and come in from right behind it, which means flying past a few initially. And he's going to really just work his way around so that there's a direction the spores don't fire from. Still trading in the center as well, so both players have got to kind of keep up with that. The Corruptors are going to come around here to deal with these Void Rays. They're going to instantly recall after sniping that base, and only one Void Ray goes down. And we're fighting in the bottom side again with, well, Fungals and Microbial Shrouds already set off. Obviously, there's no Corruptors here, so the carriers have somewhat free chance to kind of get forward and do damage, but they're out of interceptors already. There's just so many spores there.
Yeah. Yeah, in the end, losing a base is not that bad because he's gonna mine it eventually. I would be very surprised if this base does not mine out before the game ends. But still nice moves from Showtime, especially the fact that he brought the Corruptors out of position. Maybe he could have sniped the Viper or 2 because the carriers don't have anything to fear, so they can just click units one by one. Not sure that focus fire was super on point there, but I'm actually very surprised that the laser is keeping all of his queens. I think a couple of them died there, but he still has 11 of them, which is quite a bit of supply. I would have preferred seeing the queens go towards the top, or at least some of them already being there.
Another few Banes come through here, but just crashing into cannons and a lot more Lings in production. It is that kind of weird thing, right, in PvZ where you kind of get to a point where you usually expend all of your gas first and you have minerals left over, so it's actually nice to use some of these, you know, minerals on Lings throughout the game. Is that typically how it goes, or how do you see it?
Yeah, that's very good, and you need the Ling Bane army in general because you don't know if your opponent is capped entirely, so like at a supply cap, so you don't know if there is going to be Zealots or something. Ling Bane, especially if your armor upgrades are similar to the attack upgrades of the Protoss. Zerglings actually start trading really well against Zealots, so you would want them on the map for map control in general.
This gets a little bit awkward as Showtime had to recall his mothership out of trouble. Meanwhile, he's pushing around the top side while his laser was pushing the bottom. He'll get rid of a gold base that's mined out by the gases. And the Broodlord's obviously making their very slow return to the top. All of these spores, because of the lack of creep, have actually just been slowly dying, so they're super low HP, which makes this a super easy cleanup as Showtime is just going to run in and kill off a whole bunch of them immediately. I mean, that's a ton of minerals that just go down, and now he just recalls out of there, as I assume he just recalled back via the mothership because his other recall is on cooldown.
Yeah, and the laser didn't finish that base. That was very surprising because that base was super open. What should have happened is that the Broodlord should have went back immediately because the Broodlords are kind of what you need to defend your bases, and the Lings should have finished that, but I'm not sure where his Lings exactly were. I think there was also Warpism in his natural at the same time that he had to clean up. So Showtime doing a lot of stuff at the same time, which ended up helping him there and taking out some spores. And really, this is just a fight for resources, so taking out spores is very nice. Just like this move is also very nice because the static defense that he cleaned up earlier with the Banelings might have not been worth it, but now the follow-up hits even harder because of it.
Yep, just gonna see those few Lings, gonna get us around on that Nexus. That's gonna go down, and that is gonna be Unfortunately, one Showtime has to try and reclaim at some stage. Oh, DTs, and Zealot's going to get the Greatest Spire. That's nice. There's another Spire here that'll go down too, so that's going to be a full rebuild on that, of course. Right now, I'd say he has an okay Broodlord count anyway, so not maybe a major issue, but something you obviously do need to replace, otherwise you're in some trouble. Baneas goes down too, and now the Hive might go down. That's obviously going to be a longer reset on the Greatest Spire especially, so yeah, this is taking the laser way too long to deal with. Those DTs have just been unanswered. No detection at all until this Overseer finishes morphing.
Yeah, that was a huge mistake to not just send one of the Overseers earlier from the Corruptor squad, where he has like 10 of them, so I'm not sure he quite realized how much DPS DTs have. And he also didn't morph the thing right away. Now Showtime also is once again splitting up the Void Rays from his main force. They're gonna go towards the bottom. Now there's a lot of spores here. I'm not sure you want to trade Void Rays for spores, but with the prismatic alignment, they would win the fight at the very least.
Yep, just gonna go through. I mean, to be fair, he's just fighting like 1 or 2 at a time, so yeah, that's actually gonna work out pretty okay, as we'll need to keep that up. There's Ultras and Lings down on the bottom side already as well, running straight in toward this Nexus, and now aiming for some probes as you're going to see Corruptors and Vipers flying down here to try and chase those Void Rays out of there, and those Void Rays are going to be forced to recall. So again, Showtime really making good use of his mobility via recalls on this map, just making sure that he can always be annoying and then obviously just get out of there without actually losing all too much.
Yeah, in case you're wondering why there's always this 1 or 2 Corruptors with the Zerglings and the Ultras, it's because Elazer is making these units as an anti-War Prism, and so he sends always this 1 or 2 Corruptors in the same control group to make it easier for the War Prism, and then forgets, I think, to re-hotkey towards the Corruptor squad, so that's why there's always this 2 awkward Corruptors following the counter-attack.
Yeah, just like a little bit out of place. Around the top of this base again, we've seen this one die before. It'll go down again right now as Showtime just pops the Prismatic to take it down in an instant. And we'll get through our spine, and that spawns just fine a little bit. And another recall, of course, just using that mothership as a way to get back home as well. This doubles basically how many times you can get out of trouble, and gives you a little bit more activity on the map, of course.
Yeah, that also doesn't have a cooldown, in case anybody's wondering. That's just energy based, so he didn't even use the recoil yet from the Nexus. Just used the mothership one. And now Laser feels like he has a good army, so he starts pushing forward. Oh, maybe Showtime wasn't watching entirely there. Now it's all about basically funnel zoning against the Tempest, and for Showtime it's all about trying to reveal where the Infestors and Vipers are, and then trying to pick off units one by one with the Tempest. And Elazer is going into this with a slightly better bank because he killed these bases twice and does mind a little bit more from the map. But this can change very, very quickly depending on some good feedbacks or other things like good funnels and parasitic bombs.
Those via Void Rays this time decide to fly away, but we'll lose a few of them as they get caught by a few Abductors. We're going to take a big fight down over here, though. There's that Microbial Shroud, but a lot of Queens getting feedbacked as well, which puts them on low HP to begin with, at least. I mean, again, this is just Showtime saying, well, yeah, my Void Rays are up top, but I'm missing less from my army with those Void Rays missing than you are with all your Corruptors missing. Suppose you have a counterattack up top left again, as Showtime really does not have a lot of rebuild potential with the bank. Not looking too hot right now, so when he trades here, he needs to really make sure he doesn't actually lose too much. Otherwise, like you say, he's not going to be rebuilding super quick. There's the mothership going down. It will not last much longer. Drops a time warp as well as it falls, but honestly, so far, the carriers are doing great, but there's still so much stacked defense around the map that Elazer can somewhat fall back to, and he's slowly abducting these carriers in to get some extra kills. A couple of Infestors that just spawn getting caught up in it all as well. Now they're burrowing, now they're dropping some Neuroparasites, which is very useful, but he's still, I mean, here the Void Rays too. I mean, this fight's just ridiculous, just ongoing throughout. Elazer's spending a lot of his bank during this, so while the supply remains in Elazer's favor, it's because he's already spent all of that money we were talking about.
Yeah, I think Elazer's biggest issue is that he won't have anti-ground really anymore, so if he gets some Nerds on the Archons, that would be huge. He's trying to re-engage, but there are no Vipers with this. It's a very scrappy fight because all of the Interceptors are out already, so this looks a lot better than a usual fight with the carriers, and man, I think Elazer is rushing into it a little bit too fast. And he also just doesn't have any ground. I think this looks great for the Protoss.
Yeah, those Archons on the ground are just shredding units all the way throughout, and Showtime is going to come through with the 1-0 lead at the end of that 25 minutes to kick off our first game of the Your Gaming Arena tonight, everybody. As, yeah, this is our second tournament of the day, and Showtime and Elazer giving us a bit of a show for the first map of it. That was a cool game, though, because I feel like what we saw there from Showtime was really neat, with like a lot of movement to always force Elazer's army to not really be ideal. I feel like he did that really well. It felt like he was just so active all game long compared to what you usually see.
Yeah, for sure. He definitely he used recall very well, the ability, and also with the mothership, and then he just was very decisive and he had good focus fire on the brute lords. That's what I said earlier, right? When the corruptors all went to the top right, and you saw at the bottom that all the interceptors died, but until all the interceptors died, you should be able to focus fire down some brute lords, and then that should still be a good trade because of how cheap interceptors are. And this time he just went for it. And it worked out fine. I do believe that the laser missed micro this the last couple of fights a little bit, and I think that he should have probably had this game in the bag, to be honest. For example, he should have sent back one of the Vipers instead of losing it with the Corruptors after it was empty, and then maybe come back in it with a Parasitic Bomb, which was kind of missing, and he also was just missing a little bit of ground remax, and then kind of went in while so many Corruptors were still in production. But yeah, just great maneuvers by Showtime that kind of end up winning him the game.
Yeah, no, it was really, really cool stuff as we just ready up for game number 2. We're going to Oxide, so just going to get this going. Just need to finish something up quickly on the other screen. So excuse my silence.
No worries, no worries. Now, what I'm wondering is if Elaser plays like this again, because he does believe that this is the best way to play against Skytos, but he also told me that he only has the nerves for one of those games per day. This was when we talked about Ladder, though, so I'm not sure how it looks for a tournament, similar to Showtime making Tempest. Maybe in a tournament he can play like this every single game. Who knows? Yeah. But also I'm expecting Showtime to play Triple Oracle this game, so I think we're going to see something different.
Alright, well, we are good to go. I'm just going to bring the screen up on my side, and we can kick this off as we have got Oxide. For map number 2, in the top right-hand corner, we are going to start things off with the red Protoss player, who is, of course, now up a game. It is Showtime.
And his opponent now down one map as the blue Zerg player playing for a go. It's Elaser.
He's surprised if Showtime plays the same, right? Because we probably expect him to go Triple Oracle.
I think so. Although this is a decent map for 2 Stargate Void Ray as well, so who knows? Maybe he thinks it's very good for specifically against Elaser, but usually Showtime plays like a certain build per map, and this one is usually his Triple Oracle one.
Yeah, no, it's I do remember when they played this map. I'm just trying to think back, because like I say, they played it at best of 7. I think it must have been on like Saturday, so it really wasn't that long ago. On this map, Elaser did walk the Queens, and Showtime was caught really off guard with the Triple Oracle build he was going into. I feel like he had like an Immortal, 3 Oracles, and like a half-built like cannon or battery or something on the 3rd base when this Queen walk hits, so something to just keep in mind, that the last time they maybe played on this map in an official setting at least was a little bit dominated by a Zerg early game, so just a little bit of a preface for what might be to come.
Yeah, it's very easy to underestimate the distance on this map. If the Zerg takes the forward base, the Queen Walk arrives so fast that if you don't realize the Queen Walk happens before you see the Queens in the middle of the map, your static defense is not going to be done and you're going to lose. Whereas if you're actually prepared, this is not a great Queen Walk map, because you can force field at the rocks, and that's very annoying to walk through.
Yeah, for sure. Once those force fields are down, obviously you're just stuck in that so much more time board, which is obviously the name of the game in that kind of scenarios.
Now, there's actually one more cool thing that Showtime does, specifically against Elaser, because Elaser likes to open, like the Koreans do sometimes, with a delayed speed and an earlier 3rd hatch. And Showtime sometimes abuses this and gets really far ahead with just sending the first 3 adepts across the map, because he knows that there won't be speed, because Elaser likes to just skip the Zerglings. The only way this opening is efficient is also if you skip all Zerglings, and so he scouts if there are any run-bys, and then he has the adept in front of his base, so there can't be any Zerglings on the map, so he can just send the adepts across without any punishment. So it's very, very good, specifically against what Elaser is doing.
Alright, well, that's that first Adept shading through. As the Stargate will finish, and the Adept just going to cancel up, and Yeah, the Adept just going to sit there for a good long while. With the other Adept coming across as well. So teaming up together and readying for maybe a little bit of action down here. As obviously they can threaten that Shade in as well. So we will see if Laser can deal with them, if he needs to deal with them properly. They continue to Shade through right now, and it looks as though he's going to commit because the Adepts themselves are walking forward, but he gets caught on a couple Lings. So he does get surrounded, and two Adepts and a very minor, two drones and a very minor drone pull for that for those two Adepts is, it's okay for a Laser. It's just kind of 50-50 on either side, right?
I think it's slightly better for Zerg for sure. I think he should have cancelled that Shade, to be honest. But also, Oxide is not a great map to do this because you have to walk into the natural without vision, and you're gonna get a lot of shots off from the Queen, and then also Zerglings might be on top of the ramp, which, yeah, I don't know. I would have preferred him being a little bit more passive there with the Adepts, but since there's no speed, he can still just take his third base for free. So it's fine.
It's going to come through as we do have two Oracles out, and there is our third one starting. It's just confirmation that we will see that triple Oracle star that you mentioned at the start of the last game really is just the Showtime. I want to say the Showtime special because he just does it so much more than anybody else. And there are other Protoss players who still do this, and he wasn't the first player to do it necessarily, but in this day and age, I really feel like he is the player who probably has the highest percentage of usage of this build.
Yeah, he probably actually made the exact build order that he's using because he was the first one to actually defend Queen Walks with the triple Oracle by making a fast Robo plus Forge. So different than the normal like Forge Twilight follow-ups that we usually see.
Yeah, that's true. I'm very short-sighted in PvC. I see triple Oracle, I'm just like, cool, triple Oracle. Slap a triple Oracle stick on it. It's all the same. But no, you're right. Obviously, the Robo difference is a big deal because, you know, in this day and age with Queen Walks, triple Oracle of old would really just die, and that's why it was really not as good of a style as triple Oracle is good for. This, of course, diving in, and these Oracles, you know, you've just got so much health across 3 of them, and that's 9 workers going down. Queens were a little bit all over the place there. Spore wasn't ready. 11 drones dead, and, well, that's hurting a Laser a little bit.
I think the biggest mistake from a Laser is that he doesn't have Overlord spread properly because there's... If your opponent opens Oracle, there's no reason not to have a huge vision ring with Overlords around your base. And the way he plays with the Spore skip, he cannot actually be in position for this because he doesn't know where the Oracles are coming from. So he didn't even fire at the Oracles right away because he was afraid the Oracles were going to die from the Queens, which I understand because the Queens would have died without killing anything. So I think even going for the Queens would have also been a good move there. So yeah, he was not ready. I'm surprised that his Oracle defense is so poor.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that was not great.
Yeah, no, that was rough. And all of a sudden, Showtime is moving onto the map, going to try and force a few units, maybe scare a Laser a little bit. Not really an amazing set of units to really do much with, but of course you've got those force fields to help you get away. I mean, he's going to walk straight into a building 4th base. That's a cancel already, so already going to win out in that regard. And he's got the force fields to help him get away from trouble, and there's just no roaches out already, and like I said, just the 4th denial, it just slows a Laser down completely. So we are going to have a Laser really put into some trouble as Showtime just going to get rid of a creep tumor and then probably head back home. Nothing worth kind of sticking around for. Just go home, wait for your upgrades, wait for that army to get so much better as, of course, he's heading into essentially just a mortal Archon with that charge slot support.
Yeah, he's being super confident on this map because also he has the Oracle still above his army, of course. And I think, honestly, a Laser is just going to all-in and hope that Showtime takes a forward base. I think that's what's going on here, because he was forced into all of these units, and right now making drones would be nonsense because he doesn't have a forward base up. So the best thing to do kind of is hold down the unit button and maybe act weak and hope your opponent moves out, or hope your opponent doesn't scout and take a forward base, which Showtime did actually scout, but he's confident enough to still take the forward base. It's not super early though, so he can also just cancel it.
As we're just gonna go drop down the rocks as the Laser's still just rallying units across the map, but now dropping a few drones in an infestation pit as well, so is ready to tech up that little bit further in this game. Obviously right now it doesn't feel like he should be able to do much with a big attack, because Showtime feels like he's got a lot of tech up. He's got a lot of units that are good, like these Immortals, etc., although maybe not quite the static defense that he needs up on that 3rd base, perhaps. That may be a weakness for him.
But it's very scary to push in here as a Laser because most of your Ravages are going to die to Oracles, and now the War Prism comes. There's still no Overlord there on the left side. which is obviously a mistake from Elazer, and now he just has to turn back to try and save his main base, but he's not going to be in time because the roaches were posturing to try and deny a forward base on the other side of the map. So he's restarting the lair. He managed to start +2 beforehand, but this is it's getting worse and worse for Elazer.
Yep, everything that's lair related is going to be delayed. Obviously, he's going to be stuck on, well, basically this composition, and then even Bane speed will be an extra 20 seconds late. That's just going to be a little bit annoying as well, potentially, as you do knock down a few roaches there with good force fields. Showtime gets that top left base set up for his 4th, and we'll be looking to hold that position over the next few moments here. As obviously Elazer still has some good creep around that right side, but now that creep on the right doesn't matter quite as much because obviously Showtime playing the top left base instead. Yeah, okay, this base, creep is nice to get on the map, but there's not much on this side of the map as Roach Ravager will come through for a few blasts to scare Showtime off. Try and protect this creep spread for the moment.
Yeah, Showtime obviously doesn't need to attack, but he feels pretty confident the way this game has been going, and I can't blame him. So he moves out, trying to catch some units with the force fields. Those force fields whiffed, but he at least gets to clear that creep. And at the same time, Elazer is trying to do stuff at the top with a bunch of roaches, but he went too far forward, which meant all the zealots got the charge off. So at this point, you can't really kite anymore because it's too many zealots against 2 little roaches. One zealot warps into the main for some banter.
Yep, just gonna go on a solo mission. He'll be supported in a moment or two as we do see this army now down the bottom right. Bane's being caught before they're morphed, and even when they're finished morphing, they are going to walk right into Archon's no Bane speed. As I'm not sure if the lad being up already for that Bane nest finishing would have made the difference still, but yeah, this is going to be Hatcher in the bottom right going down as well. A laser down at 3 bases, and actually doesn't really have much of an army up that ramp, though Showtime maybe doesn't know exactly what's up there. Now the Oracles are there, they can put some damage in, and he's still, of course, warping into the main to make this whole thing a problem as well. I mean, just a laser being dragged around everywhere, and finally going to try and start up his hive tech, but yeah, he's a way off getting to that, and I don't think Showtime would probably give him the time.
Yeah, no, I mean, Broodlords are just a dream at this point from Elazer, to be honest. There's also, I think, very, very little chance that Showtime is actually going to throw down a fleet beacon and try to play late game here, or even just make Tempest or something. I think he's just going to go. And I'm not even sure if he has Blink. I don't think he does, but he warped in some Stalkers just for the sake of it. And his army quality is just so much better than Elazer's at this point.
Yep, it's really not even a competition. We're talking about a mid-game army versus at least a late mid. You know what I mean? Like, it's not late game, obviously, from the Protoss player, but the amount of units out there kind of is for the situation, the way the game is playing. So, if anything, it's like early, late game army for Showtime at the very least, depending on how you want to define it. But it doesn't really matter how we define it. The point is, Showtime's got enough to kind of walk across the map onto creep and probably just put an end to this game because, I mean, 13 Banes morphing, and that's the scariest part of this, but then there's not even anything that Banelings are specifically good against, like popping some mortal barriers or something. Like, nothing here really dies to the Banelings, so the Roach Ravager doesn't kill this, the Banes won't kill this, Crows of Vaz will do okay, but yeah, I mean, this is not meant to be the sort of army you face this kind of army with, and that's why a laser will unfortunately roll over and die.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't leave the game yet. Yeah, usually GG's very early.
Yeah, no, so, he's sticking around a bit, isn't he? Just,
what are the drones doing?
Yeah, they're off on a journey, man.
I think he's mad or something. This is not normal. I haven't seen him ever stay in a game like this.
Yeah, he's still playing hardcore. He was still rocking the 400 APM. Like he's typing out now.
I was like, what is this drone doing? Is he gonna make extractor? It's like, what the fuck?
GG. Showtime gonna take the 2-0 here to kickstart our day. Lambo, thanks for joining me. I know you've got to go and do some videos because you're gonna be playing next. You feeling good? You ready to win this whole thing? Yeah,
we'll see. We'll see. It's been a long day. I'm gonna try my best.
Awesome. We'll see you in game in a few minutes then. Cheers, mate. Alright guys, Lambo is streaming his point of view at twitch.tv/LamboKing if you would like to go check that out. Thank you to him for casting with us a little bit there. What we're going to do, guys, we're going to whack on a little bit of ads, but before that, I do want to play the sponsor video for the first time. I'm just trying to get it set up. Because Smart Wardy didn't actually put it on the right scene, and then I've deleted the scene overnight or something. Cool. So let me just try and grab this. So I was just replying to someone quickly. I should always just reply to them after, but I'm silly and I didn't. You guys watch this. This is from our sponsors, and then okay, I'm gonna not actually set up yet. This is from our sponsors, and then we'll obviously run some ads and stuff. So I'll see you guys a little bit. And enter and finish rewind. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Cool. And I'll do the shoutouts when we come back. I just want to push this live and then sort out the videos for the next game, guys. So I'll see you guys in a sec.
In the last decade, the
that's
video
loud.
game industry has had a considerable increase worldwide. High-speed connections have allowed the community to approach and grow exponentially, becoming one of the fastest growing industries for the last 10 years. Today, giant technology companies dominate the markets and greatly affect the ecosystem with stock market decisions that can make or break a community. Your Gaming is a completely decentralized token created to empower the development of the global gaming community, contributing to the sustainability of the entire ecosystem, from the developers themselves to the content creators and the players. Our goal is to support the development of competitive esports, empowering players and streamers so they can continue to generate content and compete globally. Your Gaming, the future is yours.
Hello guys, welcome back. getting ready for more action here in the Your Gaming arena. Just want to mention the sponsors, of course, ! Your Gaming. If you want to check it out, you can see how it's spelled right up there. If you check it out, that gives you the link to their website, etc. They are cryptocurrency, and it's a cryptocurrency made by previous or former StarCraft 2 players who want to support the scene by sponsoring events and players in the future. So, hence, this is their first event. This is the Your Gaming arena. They put on the prize pool for today and allowed us to set it up. So, yeah, go check it out. Basically, go check them out. I see a lot of people yelling scam and this and that in the chat, guys. I mean, it's just this advertisement, right? Like, you guys are more than welcome to go check it out. That website is right there. You can read all about it. You can make your own decisions. No one is saying you gotta go buy it or just, throw all your money at them or anything. They're here sponsoring some StarCraft. If that's worth, to you, checking them out for a few minutes, reading into it, whatever, then you guys do that. There's nothing, there's nobody kind of yelling at you to, to do anything. So feel free to go check them out, as I say. And, yeah, like I say, this event's here tonight because of them. So maybe a little bit less maybe just a little bit less hate out of nowhere kind of thing. Just double checking if Lambo is ready to kickstart this series, guys. We've got Uthermal ready, and Lambo's ready too, so we can kick off into this. We got 4 people in the lobby that I need to remember. Perfect. We can get this underway as we get started in the best of 3. Woody Pig said you have a great accent. Can we hear it? I mean, do you not hear it right now? I feel like I'm just talking right now. I don't have an accent apart from this. So, I don't know. If this isn't it, then I don't know what my accent is. Alright, we're on a loading screen, guys, but it looks like someone might have crashed because we are just stuck at kind of the halfway mark, which usually means someone's lagged out or something, so... Oh, no, it looks like we're recovering, though. Looks like we're actually going to be okay. Brilliant, let's go in game, then. Alright, we are going to start off down in the bottom left-hand corner of the map with our blue Terran player from Team Liquid. It's Uthermal. In the top right, our red Zerg player is going to be a Lambo. Pigment when I talk to my family. Oh, what, for like my accent of where I'm from kind of thing? Like, honestly, it doesn't change that much. Just like, I mean, I probably told Pig about it and exaggerated a bit, so... It's exaggerated for a bit of a laugh, so I wouldn't take it too seriously. Yeah, it's, I mean, it's just... If you want to hear where I'm from, just type into YouTube, like, Geordie accent. It's kind of like that. I honestly can't even do it that well. I really don't have that much of an accent compared to most people I live near and stuff, so... Yeah, I would advise if you're really interested to go YouTube it, because that's where you're gonna find out more about it. I am talking to my family? Yeah, exactly. I'm already talking to my family. You guys are my family, right, guys? Right, guys? You guys wouldn't ditch me, right? I'm a StarCraft family right here. So, Uthermal's proxying top side of the map. Lambo obviously has a very good Overlord scout to come through and say hello. Double racks is spotted, of course. Plenty of follow-up in this day and age off the double racks, where you can put on some good pressure and then just kind of fall back a little bit. Lambo saw this soon enough to pull a few drones down the low ground, and that's obviously just going to try and delay a bunker from coming up more than anything else. I wouldn't say there's really too much need for anything else here, as those couple of SCVs and the Marine are going to come through. Just going to drop that bunker down for a moment. Now some extra drones still coming on through this, so... Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be the dance. The bunker's there to take the attention of the workers and stuff away for a little while and all that kind of stuff, so... Just popping that bunker down, working from there. And just going to be seeing our Marines actually still moving forward to try and put on this little bit of pressure, so this hatchery will take some hits. Shouldn't really be in major trouble, though. Obviously, should be able to survive. I mean, you're buying time to get these lings out. We do have this next kind of bunker on the back coming up. I actually think that one's going to finish. These Marines will be able to jump into this. So 4 Marines in the bunker. Just going to see a few of these drones being targeted down. That's a lot of drones going down, in fact. I don't know why we don't have Game Hard on, guys. I don't know what's happened there, but Lambo decided to keep fighting that bunker, and that's obviously not going to work out all too well. That's obviously not ideal, and Uthermal is going to take game 1 of this best of 3. Wow. Lambo decided to really hard commit to getting rid of that bunker, and that didn't work, I think, safe to say. As we'll dive into game number 2. Right, guys, I got a couple moments for a couple moments to actually catch up on shoutouts, so sorry if you've subscribed and stuff, and I didn't shout you out just yet, just got a little bit caught up on stuff. As, yeah, let me get this back running properly. I really don't know why GameHot wasn't on last game. So, first of all, apologize for that. Thank you, SRJ, over on the Patreon, who pledged €2 or so, I believe. Thank you very much. And also, Gwen, on the fresh new Tier 1 sub. Thank you so much. As well as, V Danger Zone 69 dropped the Prime sub. And Jovial Loxa earlier, I think, 19-month resub I didn't see. And maybe even additional Pylon, 27-month resub I didn't see. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the resubs and the subs. As everybody's ready. And we can go into game number 2. That obviously was not a speedy, was not the best of scenarios. Gonna dive into our next game here in a moment or two. Yeah, you don't get the drone, right? You don't get the SCV, sorry, that's building that bunker, and that bunker stays up. If that bunker gets to come on through, that's where you're gonna have a little bit of a problem. That's exactly where things went down. So, why are they playing on an A? Because Uthermal is in Mexico, so Mexico down here, Europe over here, well, you know, other way around. Mexico here, Europe over here, and so they play on NA East, which is like over here. Sorry, I'm trying to do it so it makes sense on the webcam, which is kind of in the middle of the two. So it's fairest ping, basically. Uthermal has about 90 ping here. I personally have... I have about 80 ping to NA East. Lambo probably has 90 to 100. It's just fairest server instead of Uthermal having to play like 130, 140 on Europe. I actually forgot that he was in Mexico. I was out in Europe and I was like, man, where's Uthermal? And I was like, wait, he's in Mexico. He's in Mexico. He's on America. I was like, all of a sudden I was like, aha, guys, sorry, we're waiting for nothing. We have to swap servers. I completely forgot. Server alternation. Nope, everything's on NA because it's not like Uthermal's in NA East. He's in Mexico, right? So it actually isn't like, it's not like Uthermal's just playing with no ping. He's playing with like 100-ish ping as well. Like I say, it's about fairest server, I think. I don't know the exact numbers, but it is like a middle meeting ground more so than it's not just Uthermal playing every game on NA, and then swapping to Europe and back again. It's a fair middle ground. Usually when we talk about NA and European players having trouble, we talk about US Central or NA West. Those servers are a little bit tougher. But NA East is generally pretty easy access. I mean, especially for like Germany or Germany, England, like Western European countries, it really is like a 100 ping max depending on your connection. Usually. See, sometimes things change. Reaper opening from Uthermal as Lambo plays the pool first this time with 6 Lings already coming up here on Lightshade, so gonna be getting that going for himself as we kick this all off. It's gonna see our SCV is obviously going to scout, and he will see the 6 Lings as well. So really nice to see all 6 Lings because now you know exactly how many there are, and you can make a bit of decision making around that as well. That is generally just good to know about. So yeah, that's definitely a reasonable setup to begin with, in all honesty here. As that SCV went down, and now we are going to watch our Reaper trying to hunt down Lings out on the map somewhere, but not so far really being able to find any. So far, the Lings do just back it up and stay alive, which is obviously good news. If you're a Lambo fan at least, because keeping those few Lings around, it's not the end of the world or super game-changing, it's just a few Lings that you don't lose out on, right? So anytime you keep a few Lings alive versus not keeping them alive, is generally gonna be a good sign. And then we do see our Reaper hopping up into the main base at the moment, so just gonna pop in here, gonna have a look around, gonna drop a Reaper grenade, and that is gonna be a little bit of harassment, but nothing actually killed. Drone becomes a spore crawler, keeping itself nice and safe at the moment. So far so good there, as this barracks is going to move off of the off of the reactor, go move it to a tech lab. And Thermal is building a freaking Ghost Academy. Oh my goodness. So Thermal is going to go for a Hellbat Ghost Attack. It has been a long ass time since I've seen this build in action. That is really something, as we're just going to be seeing a couple of Hellions coming through. The first Ghost already in production here, and the starport coming up at the back of the main base. Wow, this is so funky. Lambo's Overlord is just sat in the natural too, so not exactly in the ideal position to really see exactly what's going on with this. Not immediately like set up to see, alright, you know, you're going to be coming in over here or something or whatever. Not in the slightest, in fact, as we're going to be seeing our... Yeah, I mean, this is just going to be crazy, because the medevac can bring the ghosts across the map as well, right? So then you don't necessarily know that it's the ghosts initially, you just see the medevac and the Hellions. Oh yeah, this is going to be rough, as Lambo is just not really set up on anything right now that would help you either. Oh, he did run one ghost out the front, so maybe he did see it, as there we go, our ghost. He's going to go for that journey across the map, ghost rushing. So the idea is the ghosts can either EMP the energy off the queens, or even just add snipes to the queens. The snipes on the queens will more or less kill them. You just need like a little breath of, a little breath to do a little bit more damage to help in that scenario usually. As the Hellions going to get rid of a couple Zerglings, the Ghost dealing some okay damage as well. I mean, in the end, I'm actually kind of surprised, because we never actually saw the armory, so it wasn't even Hellbats. There was actually nothing out of the starport yet either, as it just sets up. Now a double starport setting up, as we're going to go double starport battlecruiser off the back of a Ghost Rush. I'm actually scratching my head, like quite literally scratching my head a little bit at this, as I'm going to see an Overlord here, which we'll shoot at, but yeah. Kind of a wild build order, and again, the double port battlecruiser behind this is even crazier. Oh my goodness, and that explains why the starports are right in the back, trying to be hidden away, of course, and not be scouted easily. Aliens and the Ghost in some trouble. We try to line up something from that Ghost in the end, but doesn't get it. As, yeah, he dove pretty hard onto this third base, so unfortunately does find some trouble because of that, as the Hellions escape away off to that left-hand side. Lambo needs to know what the hell's coming his way, though. He's setting up for Queen number 7, but 2 BCs at once, that is the thing that's really going to throw you. Like, you can probably defend this if 1 BC shows up, but double BC at the same time is going to shred Queens. And especially if you don't have, like, a Spore Crawler or anything on the backup either. Just going to see our Hellions back around. Going to be seeing a Ghost sniping down that Queen as well. Second Queen is going to live for the moment, at least, as the Ghost tries to stay safe. The other snipe is actually going to go down. Multiple Queens dying, and that is why this build's kind of cute, because if you can kill the Queens, what's going to kill the battlecruisers, guys? Wonder if you could counterattack, though, with a Ling Bane, maybe, because there's not going to be a lot on the ground for you Thermal. Lambo just sees double BC. He's lost Queens, he doesn't have Spore Crawlers. He's going to type out GG, and Thermal is going to make this a speedy second series of the day. Had a really cool ZVP to start, but Lambo unfortunately just can't quite match up with Thermal, who comes out with ridiculous builds. And that is going to be GG. So guys, we're going to swap back to Europe, and we're going to get ready for some ZVZ action, as Lambo will take on a Laser. And we'll get that up and ready to go. So get that ready to play. Kind of one of those series where everything just goes a little bit wrong for you very quickly, so... A little bit wild and wacky, guys. Crazy stuff to kick us off today. Hope everyone is having a fantastic day. Of course, you're watching the Your Gaming Arena, and I will give you guys the video once again. Some ads. I'll come back at you with the elimination match between a Laser and Lambo.
In the last decade, the video game industry has had a considerable increase worldwide. High-speed connections have allowed the community to approach and grow exponentially, becoming one of the fastest growing industries of the last 10 years. Today, giant technology companies dominate the markets and greatly affect the ecosystem with stock market decisions that can make or break a community. Your Gaming is a completely decentralized token created to empower the development of the global gaming community, contributing to the sustainability of the entire ecosystem, from the developers themselves to the content creators and the players. Our goal is to support the development of competitive esports, empowering players and streamers so they can continue to generate content and compete globally. Your gaming, the future is yours.
Welcome back, everybody. Your Gaming Arena #1. As this is meant to be, or aiming to be, a bi-weekly event, so once every couple of weeks, to bring you guys some top StarCraft action, brought to you by Your Gaming. Of course, exclamation mark Your Gaming in the chat. If you would like to see it, we'll give you the we'll give you the link to the site and stuff if you want to read more and check it out for yourselves. So right now, just waiting for my countdown just finished up. These two are discussing in the lobby about how they want to. They're discussing in the lobby how they would like to. How they want to play a 1v1 Dota 1v1 in Dota to decide this rather than the ZVZ. But alas, we're here to watch StarCraft and not Dota, everybody. A little bit dicey. Thank you for gifting us up out to Kybrit. What's up, Kybrit? On the 23-month resub. Hell yeah. Game sounds. There we go. That's in the top left-hand side. top left-hand side, our blue Zerg player is Laser is in the bottom right. Our red Zerg is Lambo. As we get this up and running. Will these events be EU focused? Well, they didn't really have. Basically, this one happened because this is just when I had free time. So, yeah, I mean, generally, I don't think they have necessarily an immediate, like, or a certain kind of region they're focusing on or anything. This one just worked out because it was the day that they wanted to do, and obviously I had Summer Championship earlier, so I could only really do this kind of time, you know? So, that's how that kind of worked out. So, guys, I just gotta tab out for a couple of moments here. I just gotta fix something quickly, so excuse the... I mean, we've got 6 lings on the way. The game is just going to be a tiny bit laggy for the first few moments here, so excuse me for that. I forgot to do something during the break. Hey, I'm a silly caster. Sorry guys, literally just going to be another minute or so as lings make their way across to the other side. And we'll see how this defense of Alaze is going to go. Because obviously that's how he's going to deal with this. They are setting up desks and stuff in chat apparently. And, yeah, I mean, nothing really too... An interesting conversation, but that's about it. Some drones are going to pull down to the low ground. Alright, I'm all done, guys. I'm caught back up on what I had to get done so quickly. So sorry for that, just a little bit of lag in game because I had to tab out and sort something out. These lings are going to come back through and drone's going to be in some trouble. A drone going down there and this hatchery going to be chipped away at as well as these lings will stay active. I'm just going to be seeing the hatchery. Well defended, really. Lambo does not get any worker kills, so only one drone going down so far. These lings being picked away at, and just going to be seeing the other lings of a laser coming through to chase down the lings of Lambo, which get pushed out into the center of the map. So getting chased away from them. As that is how we get set up. How did I get gifted a sub when I wasn't watching? Gifted subs don't necessarily always go out to people who are online in the stream. Sometimes they pick people who are offline, that are, you know, have a lot of hours on the stream, who have followed a long time, who watch a lot, all that kind of stuff. So you can actually get a gifted sub from, well, not watching the stream when you're offline. It doesn't always happen, but sometimes there's a chance of it happening. Gonna see our evolution chamber setting up on the natural. Our feelings pulling back a little bit as well to the upper left. You see our Bane Nest and a Rotron from Lambo. So the Bane Nest in the back, the Rotron in the front. So what he's trying to make this look like is he's going into like a roach setup, like +1 on roaches. The reality is obviously he's going to set up into a lot of lings and into like a ling Bane attack that he's hoping will catch a laser off guard. A laser's going to go for a Rotron of his own, and that's where he might fall into trouble here, because if you don't have enough roaches up right away, this ling Bane attack will be very scary to deal with. So Lambo playing a little bit of an aggressive mind game here as we get this set up. All those lings still gathering up in the main base right now. Single Zergling just going to move around that right-hand side. Just going to see the rest of the lings getting going too. And just going to be seeing our +1 missiles. Also on the way up, getting +1 missiles started. But I mean, is that a real follow-up or is that just a fake out in case the laser's scouting? The laser sees all of these lings with ling speed now, so now he knows what's up. The Banes are going to morph in the center. He's got a lot of lings of his own mind. It's going to come down to these Banelings. These Banelings are going to be the game changers, perhaps, as a laser's going to fight here initially. He's got to be really careful, because he knows that these Banes are already on the way in. So you just can't stick around there forever, as we are going to see a lot of lings going up to the high ground. Roach is on the way from a laser, as Lambo gets a good surround on that initial wall off. You can see more Lings looking to intercept reinforcements or even just force Lambo to go back home. Queens are going to try and get to the ramp, but that's not a ramp block. That is a surround. And these Banes just want to speed up the process of killing drones right now. Kill as many drones as possible. Use them to shut down any further Zerglings. Remember, there's a Lings across the map too, so they're going to cause some chaos as Queens coming in. The Lings of Lambo not paying any attention to that, so they're just running by, letting the Queens fight those Lings on their own. A couple Lings might make the difference, and they are now helping out as Aliza loses all of his economy. We're just going to be seeing these Banes continue to crash through. Roach is in a lot of trouble. Yeah, this is going to be just obviously... I mean, the Bane lane's especially just the real aid here, as Aliza does not have anywhere near enough left at the end of this one. And Lambo is going to take game number 1 in some speedy, aggressive ZVZ. We really did start the day with a long game, and it's gone very quickly from there, guys. So far... that's kind of what we're looking at, as I'm just trying to get this next game set up. Hey, Thingamabob, thank you so much for the 5 gifted subs going out to Kanzo Ojin, Too Dirty for the 2-month resub. We have Atlas ZMH, Champkind for the 3-month resub, and Sean from PA. Thank you so much, Thingamabob, for your generosity of 5 gifted subs. I think that's actually going to throw us over the 1,300 subscriber mark, which is amazing. We've not been above 1,300 subs in a while. So thank you so much for that, guys. I really appreciate it. This week has just popped off a little bit. Thank you so much. I think a week ago we had like 900 subs. It's been a really ridiculous week of StarCraft for us, as Game 2 will be 2,000 atmospheres. Let me get this hosted up. And ready to roll. It's missing a Lambo, who is up 1-0 after that one. Alright, just swap a player around. Just need a race check from Lambo. Brilliant. Players are ready. Let's dive into game number 2. As we get this going. Sorry guys, my shoulder's a little bit stiff, so I'm just going to look a bit silly for a moment or two. Eliza just said, putting on a jacket as a Protoss player must be much harder than playing late game. Ay. We're diving into 2,000 atmospheres, guys, in the Your Gaming Arena number 1. Getting ready to kick this off, get this going. Let's see what the hell happens. In the bottom left corner of the map, our red Zerg player from XCOM Argo. Down a game is a laser. As he is up against the blue Zerg in the top right from the Shopify Rebellion. It is Lambo looking to recover from that youth thermal series. And obviously get a chance to play in that lower final. I was going to be seeing this game 2 then. Hatchery first on either side, so no an early pool or anything like that this time around. As we get this one up and running. Obviously, one of the big questions in ZVZ is always going to be, hey, when does this game kind of, go different? When do they diverge from this mirrored build order? It's a good question because there's not really like a solid answer. It really depends on what styles both players want to kind of, come out playing here. As what's up, Kamikaze? Thank you so much for the 8-month resub. Much appreciated as we hatch gas pool rolling. See a couple of drones on the way out. Just gonna get those up and running, and just gonna be having the drone coming in on the other side as well. Everything just looking normal, guys. Hope everyone again is having had a good weekend. I'm kind of thrown off on the days right now, but of course it is already Sunday. Don't worry, we've got a whole week of StarCraft ahead of us. Asus qualifiers this week, as well as we're going to be covering awarded TV Summer Championship playoffs. Really excited about that, obviously. And yeah, just a really good weekend, a really good week of StarCraft 2 ahead of us with those events. Going to be giving us a ton of games to talk about and chat about and all that kind of stuff. So, hell yeah, looking forward to all those games. Hopefully you guys will be excited to join us as well, live, I believe, every day this week, up until I fly on Sunday. So a week today I'm going to be flying. I'm sure you guys can figure out where. There's only one StarCraft event that's going to have an offline set of casters in the near future, or in the next week or so. So I'll be flying on Sunday, but I'll be casting Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and Saturday, of course. So looking forward to that. So yeah, loads of cool games this week. As you do see these couple of lings moving down. The bottom right-hand side of the map, plenty of lings coming up as a laser is going to be making more drones though, so it's Lambo that will be hiding these lings to morph in a couple of Banes already, and to once again be looking to be aggressive. He took this forward hatch, which gives them some faster reinforcements as well. Everything feels as though it's building up to just hit this kind of quick, fast Ling Bane fight. Straight across the map is where we seem to be going, so off we go. Our lings launching across to the bottom side. 4 Banelings already morphing in the center. The other Zerglings coming through to the south. Just going to go and jump on this hatchery, which is going to be taking some shots. Another Baneling coming up. These few lings coming through. And that one Baneling of a laser wanting to come in as well. Not doing too much there. Is a Baneling going to wander forwards again. Not going to do much right now. Just get shot down by a Queen. Again, those couple of Banes trying to do what they can at the moment. Roachroan is on the way up from a laser in the back of the main base. Going to be taking the Ling Bane out to the watchtower here. As these couple of Banelings will come through and a couple of drones will be in some trouble. 1 drone and 2 drones end up going down. And now those couple of Banelings of Lambo waddling up to the top side of the map. The Zerglings as well. Plenty of roaches continuing to produce here also from a laser. So just getting those extra roaches on the way out. And just going to be seeing him readying himself for a big roach attack. Lambo's building his own roach roaring. The question will be, will he be able to catch up on the roach numbers? Ain't gonna be easy. He needs to make sure, I mean, he's starting an Evo chamber. He needs to basically just go purely roaches and nothing else. He's getting a lot of overlords, Lambo. Maybe even too many as he just freeing up the supplies. He morphs in some more Banes as loses a Queen on the front. This overlord's still on the right side. We'll see the roaches in a moment or two, so Lambo will be aware. I mean, he's gonna have his own roach roaring now. So he can go into roach production as he's initially just trying to obviously deal with this Ling Bane force. Actually deals with the first 2 Banes well. 1 Baneling for 2. Using his Queen to his advantage. Using a Baneling there to help slow this down. Man, he's got 7 roaches on the way. I'm not sure if it's going to be here soon enough. He's going to have to give up the 3rd hatchery already. He's already pulling back on that as... Oh, the 2 Banes wanted to obviously go for the bigger clump of Banelings from his opponent, but couldn't really make it there. It does soften up some of the Banelings as well, but now Ling's trying to stream forward, not having the best of time. Roach is starting to come up. He will lose only 3 drones initially, but a lot of drones getting hit to low HP, which means the Lings will follow through for some damage, but only 1 more going down. Well, as we kind of fight at the front here, Baneling went off for Lambo and actually just connect on those roaches, softening them all up. Drones trying to pull in. The roaches in some trouble. Just going to see the rest of this roachling army of a laser still streaming on through. He's still got an army supply lead, but the drones of Lambo should help to offset this a little bit at least. A corrosive bile comes through from a laser who gets a Ravager up and running. I don't think a laser has enough roaches and Ravagers or anything, or roaches and lings to push through anymore. I think Lambo is going to hold on, but he's down 5 workers, so he's not exactly coming out of this in the lead. He doesn't have any, he doesn't really have any tech to show for this either. He does have less army supply too, so I feel like Lambo holds, but at a rather large cost. I'm kind of surprised that a laser built even more units. I felt like if a laser had just gone into droning right away, he would have had a much bigger lead, but I guess it's the right call because Lambo seems to think his only option is to counterattack immediately, in which case a laser making unit is the perfect call. So perhaps the laser just knows that this is the only way Lambo would play from that kind of setup, from that sort of a defense. As it looks as though we might get this taken to a game 3. Roaches taking on other roaches, a few Banelings coming through as well, and that is going to be GG's as a laser takes game number 2 of the best of 3 series, and that will be that. Tied up 1-1. Hey, what's up, Cop Muta? Thank you so much for the fresh new subscription. Had loads of new subs today. Thank you so much, guys. If you're a new sub, What's up? Welcome. Do consider checking out the Discord server where you can get your hands on replay packs and more. Much appreciated as we get ourselves ready for Game 3. Will be Jag and Nather, if I remember correctly, so I'm just going to host it and believe in my memory of what this Game 3 was going to be. I didn't have it copy-pasted anymore either. It's Jag and Nather. Perfect, alright. If I can get this hosted up properly. It's good. Looks good. 1-1 tied up in this third map now in a moment or two. Let's wait for the players to join. Neither of them are joining just yet. There's the DreamHack Finals being held, same as last time. The casters go to a studio in Sweden. The players are obviously still online. Too many complications to bring the players in. At least with the the problem is with the players, right? Is that the players all have to come from all over the world, right? And that's obviously got so many different rules for kind of going back home and stuff like that. And it'd be really unfair to the players if one player couldn't attend because of the rules for their country, right? Whereas for the casters, obviously you can select casters from countries that are easy to access, from countries you can easily fly people in from, for example. All that kind of stuff. You know, it's unfortunate for someone like Pig, who obviously is going to have a much more difficult time attending.